What up, everybody? This is Miss 5678, and you are now tuned into Ship's Podcast. Hello. What up? I have some friends with me, some guests with me, and we're talking about our ability to have a mindset and love at the same time, whether it's loving yourself, whether it is loving in a romantic relationship, in a marriage, just the fact that you can have a mindset. And we're talking about your surroundings and how the surroundings directly affect your mindset. So I hope y'all got something to say. What up, Malachi? Blessings. I saw my cousin on here earlier. I don't know where he went. But shout out to Cuzzo Slim. Okay. Whoever that is, shout out to you. What's up, y'all? We talking about mindsets and love. I have the author and coach, accountability coach, Brother Trev, Singleton, and he is here. We're going to dive into a little bit about the book, and then we're also going to just talk about specifically mindsets and love. So we have some friends with us. Hi, y'all. What up? And so I just want y'all going to ask these questions too, because it would be awesome to have your input as well. So, Brother Trev, how are you?
I am well. How are you? Let me go ahead.
It's been a while since we had you on the podcast.
Oh, man. And I've missed it. Happy New Year.
I know. Happy 2024.
Yep, 2024.
So, if you guys don't know, Brother Trev, he is an accountability coach. He is a man of God. Okay?
Amen.
He is a deacon. He is just incredible. Him and his wife. Shout out to Nicole. I love her. She is my sister. Without these two, I probably wouldn't even have understood what an intercessor means. So to the kingdom. So that was just a blessing to have them in my life, and I'm grateful. But he has come up with a book. How many books have you written so far?
So far, this is my first book.
Okay, so y'all need this book. You need to check this book out because I went through the book not just because he is one of my spiritual guidance and he is an accountability coach, but he is also a great friend, and I trust his writing. So when I went to read the book, a lot of it, I marked it up, sorry. I went in this book. Okay, I was in the book.
That's what you're supposed to do.
So just to dive into some of it, procrastination, I don't know if you guys know that procrastination is a response of depression. It's a depression response. A lot of people don't know that, but it is. But in here on, page 93, he talks about procrastination. This could be a heavy winter coat. Just the description alone puts you in the place of where you understand. This could be a heavy winter coat with a massive hood, a large zipper, and tons of buttons. Procrastination is such a huge weight to carry. It's detrimental to your development and can cause you to miss opportunities. Those who suffer from procrastination wait until the last minute to get anything done. Then it becomes a mad scramble to reach the deadline. The last day can be one of regret. As you think over all the ways you could have used your time better, regret does nothing but sap your energy if you let it. That's not a place you'll survive or thrive if you choose to stay there. So the description alone about procrastination, I think a lot of people right now struggle with teetering between laziness and procrastination and being tired. And those three things are they're a slippery slope. Yeah. Because if you're tired, obviously you don't want to do anything. Lazy, because of what? What is it provoked from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then procrastination is is this now my mindset?
Right. So you have to look at it and see really what it stems from. Because many times when we look at something, we're looking at symptoms. Mm-hmm. It's like when you go to the doctor's going to ask you a lot of questions, ask you about your symptoms, mm-hmm. and then from there he's going to determine what's your diagnosis. Mm-hmm. So the question is what your procrastination is a symptom. So what's really the real deal? What's going on? So we see that procrastination is the fruit. The question is, what is the root?
Yeah.
What is it? Where are the roots coming from? Because you can just deal with something that's just going to, be okay for a day, an hour, maybe a week. But if you're not healing the root, then that root is just going to bear the same fruit.
It is true. It is true. Let me get this out of here. So what can you, as an accountability coach, just your experience alone, how do you help people who have a severity of procrastination?
Well, one of the things I do is I'll take them through a series of questions, asking them, what does your day look like? What does success look like? What does when you get this goal, what does that look like? If you want to get healthier, if you want to get a particular certificate job, what does that look like? Now, when you ask a what question, it puts your mind in that place. So if I ask you, what does that look like when you achieve your goal? The mind immediately takes you to that place. You now begin to see it. You begin to activate the senses of it. Instead of a why or a how, you ask the what. Because many people get tripped up on the how. How can get you in so many circles, in so many places. You'll be in a rotary, continually going back and forth, going back and forth. You'll be in a revolving door thinking you're going somewhere, and you're not.
And do you think that procrastination kind of dabbles a little bit with indecisiveness?
It can be, because the challenge is you call it indecisiveness, but you make a decision not to make a decision.
And that is crazy.
so you're still making a decision.
Right.
Whether it's good or bad, because decisions themselves, it's kind of like money. It doesn't have any moral characteristics. It's what you do with that, what you do with your decision. Once you decide to procrastinate, decide not to procrastinate, it's a series of decisions.
Yeah.
Many people think it's just one big decision. No, it's a continual process. And that's why I put myself out there as an accountability coach.
Yeah.
You need somebody that's going to,
Hold you
call
accountable.
you. That's going to, like I say in my slogan, be the foot in your backside, making sure you don't backslide.
That's true. That's true. I have I procrastinate. I was just telling Jabrina this probably like yesterday or today about how from 2022 to 2023 we had a huge event and we had supplied. We bought all these supplies for this event and all this equipment. We're talking about lights, balloons, balloon arches, pipe and drape, backdrops, badges for events, just so many things to host big events because we were having a lot of events. And when we were done with the Young Entrepreneurs vendor pop-up, the first one, and we did the Sweet 16 right after it, it was so many things that Bree and I brought to my house to now. They were on boxes before, and then we took those boxes and put them in the place that we were going to be hosting the event. And they stood there until we had the event. But when it was time to bring them into my living room, oh my God. Hey, yo, listen. It was a hot mess. Because here's the thing. We had things everywhere. We didn't have a place for them. We didn't have any storage to put them in, nothing. So I got overwhelmed and literally procrastinated from September of 2022, all the way until Christmas Eve
of 2020
of now.
Of last year.
Of this literally 2023, and it sat like that, everything everywhere in my living room. It looked like a junkyard.
Well, see, that's the thing, because sometimes the things around us, the challenges around us, they reflect what's going on inside of ourselves. There's things that, people will say, someone may break out in their face, and they're like, why am I doing that? Because of stress, because of some things. A lot of times what you see around you, that's the manifestation. That's just the physical of what's going on inside. So really, once you heal what's going on inside, those boxes are going to go.
Well, I literally, I didn't have the drive, and I didn't have the approach, the strategy to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel like it. I'm tired. And I did that all the way up until I was like, I can't do this no more. Like, I couldn't function. I'd literally be sitting in my living room watching my movies or whatever else, knowing that chaos is over there. The desk was crazy. Like, and then it literally was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, and you know, obviously, Holy Spirit was like, no, you want what's next. You want to do something different and expect a different result, you got to do something different.
Exactly.
So I literally started buying all of these different storage contraptions or like just functional things where I can pile this up and label it as this and really, really organize. But it took us a day just to organize balloons, balloon pump, event badge, pipe and drape curtains, lights.
But you have to pay. See, once you invested money, that's when you knew that was real and that was legit. That's when you knew you had to do something. That's why a lot of times where people are looking around for, well, I want someone to, you know, I love to, you know, are you doing any coaching, any programs? Oh, how much is it? Well, the question becomes is,
you got to invest yourself.
Yeah, how much is it costing you not to do it?
Yeah.
Look at the other side of the cost. You know, because, well, I want it for free. Well, if you get something for free, you're not really that invested. But if you know money's coming out of your pocket, then you're going to say, okay, I need to do something for this. You know, the goal is when you go into a coaching program or something, invest in a coach, you want what we call asymmetric returns. Like you want to invest a little bit, have a big investment, have a big response at the end.
That's right.
So, but you've got to invest something. You can't reap what you haven't sown.
That's right. So we literally, I mean, getting organized was like a huge thing that the Holy Spirit was telling me, like this next season. Like you cannot possibly think that you can do this thing in chaos. Like everything has to be organized down to my purse, okay, my backpack, down to my makeup bag, down to just little things like the way. I'm gonna just put this out here just as an example.
You have to do it because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it's got to be everything.
Even down to this little pouch. Just as an example, this pouch has my electronic devices, like of what I charge my phone with, what I my earpiece, this and that. It's all in here. That's what I had to do in order to everything had to have a place. And we literally took one weekend and we labeled everything, put everything in different piles. And then when I got all of the storage units and little small contraptions that I was getting to put these things in, we were able to put those things and then label them. Because what was happening was the summertime and all the different little events that we do, let me stop saying little. The events we were doing, all of the events we were doing, we were doing what do you call it? Vending, a lot of vending. And then we had our big event that we did again in September. And we're like, oh God, we can't find anything because nothing is organized. You know what I mean? We couldn't put stuff together because we were like, all right, where do we leave them lights at? Okay, we need the badges, where the badges at? We had to figure it out. And so I was like, all right. And it took us more time trying to figure out how to get the approach to our events, what we're going to bring, how we're going to tote it and bring it. And I was like, I can't do that again. No way. And there's no way. So what we did was, when we finished labeling everything, we put everything up and we stacked everything. I mean, everything is in its place, and it feels so good. That was my Christmas present. So the way out of procrastination, literally, I had to trump that. I can't do that anymore. No more procrastination. Even if it's hey, I need to wash these dishes. And I don't care if it's a spoon and a bowl.
Yes.
The spoon in the bowl is not sitting there.
Exactly. You've got to lower your level of tolerance. Because a lot of times people will do that. They will raise their tolerance level and they'll lower their discipline. So if you tolerate everything like that, it's going to continue to say, okay, well, this can come in. Well, this is coming because now, you've now invited and made a place for disorganization to live, to reside, because it's always looking for a place. You've got to say, okay, this reflects my being, my getting up, those that are around me. And if I want to treat myself better, I've got to treat my environment better. I've got to reflect that. And if my car, if my room, if my home, if my apartment, if that's messy, then that's really a reflection of me.
Right.
And how I will treat other people.
So now I want to lead that over into the conversation about your mindset, because that's a mindset thing. Like, it's the attitude of how you look at, the things around your environment. So my question is, can you have a mindset like that and then also expect a relationship?
You can. Well, what it is that when you have things that are in you, in morals, in your belief system, you're going to attract what you have around you. So if you find out you're in messy relationships, is your life messy? Is your home messy? Are you listening and taking, someone tells you something, oh, I forgot, you're not really taking that relationship seriously. So if you're not handling your sibling relationship, your family relationship seriously, then how would you expect to handle a relationship outside, a romantic one? That's all going to be a reflection of that. So you've got to understand that, okay, I used to be this way. I used to have a set mind. But now I've got to have, and that's why I say there's a difference. There's a difference between a set mind and a mindset. When it comes to a set mind, it says, I'm stuck here, this is where I'm going, this is how I've always done it, this is how I've changed, and I'm not moving from it. That's a set mind.
Ooh, I don't want that.
But you need
and
to have
I want to be around that like that.
Exactly. That's why it's better to have a mindset, something where you're flexible. You're willing to say, you know what, I've been doing this for 10 years, but actually I may have been doing this wrong. I'm open to learn. If you open yourself up to learn, to be flexible, to change, then you're open to have someone that's going to reflect that, that's going to accept you, that's going to be that change. And so when you're not even looking, it's going to be something that's attract. Because you're putting that out there, then the Lord is nothing to do but bring it back to you. Right. It's going to reflect what you put out.
Now, what are the different mindsets that people often fall under? Because I did have some different mindsets that I had watched. Like, there's positive mindset, this and that. There's all these different kinds.
Well, sometimes the thing is, when it comes to certain mindsets, you have to look at the different models that you grew up with. Are you operating out of that original model, or have you changed it? Some people have a traditionalist way. This is how I've always done it. So there's that tradition mindset. And when you look at the word tradition, this is from Dr. Miles Monroe, tradition just means you're trading your ideas down. You're trading ideas down. Doesn't mean it's applicable to what you were doing years ago. Exactly. You're just trading the ideas down. That's really what it is. So that's the traditional mindset. And another mindset is okay, that's one where you're just focused on yourself. So that's a set mind. Set mind really, even though we call it a mindset, it's really a set mind. I've always done it. My mom did it, my grandmother did it, my great-grandmother did it, my cousins do it, this is what I'm going to do. So really, that's really a set mind. So
what was the other way that you referred to a person that wants to have an ever-changing mind?
They want to really have an open mindset. They want to have that mindset where they're like, okay, not only do I want a disciplined life, but I want one where I'm willing to change.
Like flexible.
Exactly. That flexibility doesn't mean that it's going to corrupt your belief system. That right is wrong and wrong is right. It just means that you're willing to say that, hey, it may be time for me to pivot. You got to have that mindset to pivot. Like when the pandemic happened, everybody had to pivot.
That's right.
And so we were in that era, and still kind of in that era of the pivot.
Yeah, people got a little comfortable.
Yeah,
people got comfortable.
Oh yeah, people got comfortable. Restaurants got comfortable. Companies got comfortable. They got comfortable wasting, and all of a sudden, when you couldn't do what you can't do, you had to pivot and be like, "What do you mean I can't go here? What do you mean? The last time people were shocked when they went, when that came and they shut the schools down and shut all that, and you went to your favorite supermarket and there was no food. There were empty shelves.
Listen, I just tried to buy mascara and I can't find it.
And that's
CVS.
Yes.
It's the change.
It's literally scarcity up in there.
Right.
I was like, I guess I can go tomorrow.
And that's the thing, you know, it's a different mindset. We're so accustomed to even living that way. Even Americans, if you think about it, people go to other places, other countries, and expect people to speak. You speak English, of course. You know, I mean, the saying is, if you speak 2 languages, you're bilingual. If you speak 3 languages, you're multilingual. You speak 1 language, you're American.
Wow.
Because everyone else in the world speaks at least 2 languages. Right here, you have a mindset, the American mindset, the Western mindset of that everybody's going to speak English wherever I go.
Right.
Of course, I got a
That's
passport,
also
I can go
entitlement,
wherever. Exactly, it's the entitlement.
I speak 2 different languages plus English. Ich liebe dich. For those who, shout out to all my Germans.
You know, and sarcasm is not a language.
Right.
Well, it's a language or
Ich
something.
liebe dich. Wie geht's? Okay.
There you go. So encouraging.
Spanish. I only understand that though.
There we go.
I can't really speak it the way I, back in the day. I took Spanish for so long, but all right. So, and in the book, all right, let's get back in this book. Self-sabotage. This is a hard one, y'all.
It's tough.
Because some of us do it, and I'm going to say us because I'm included in the mix. I don't want to exclude myself. Self-sabotage. This is an offshoot of procrastination. Jesus. Ooh. You pack too much into your day. Yikes. You have every hour planned. Sounds like me. You go from 0 to 60 without thinking back to when you had difficulty shifting from park to drive. That's an example of self-sabotage. Another is over-promising yourself or your services in a verbal or written contract because your desire to be a part of something overwhelmed your logic and time in the hallway. You now have periods of anxiety to meet a demand that shouldn't have been yours in the first place. These are what could be limiting you from being able to progress to the next level or to your new level. Self-sabotage. All right.
Yeah.
How do we, is that a mindset?
Self-sabotage really, it's a symptom. It's a symptom of what's really going on inside and what may have happened to you either recently or at a younger age that has not healed. You know, it's when we're looking at these procrastination, self-sabotage, depression, any of those, when you're looking at those, there are symptoms. Those are things that are diagnosed. And so, and what it comes back to is what happened to you. You got to keep continually ask the question, well, why do you feel that way? Well, what's causing the reason? And you continually dig until you get to the root. You know, it reminds me of years ago when we had the spotlight issue in Boston, meaning that the priests that were doing the wrong things, and then they found out that there are people that were in their 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s couldn't hold a job, that were strung out, that were that were almost suicidal, psychotic, because of something that happened to them decades ago.
Yeah.
And it happened to them because they were not healed.
Right. And they didn't address it.
Exactly. And if it's not addressed, then it's something that's going to fester. So you've got to say, why am I overpromising? Why can't I say I'm being somewhere when I said I'm going to be somewhere? Why can't I be on time? Why can't I be someone that's reliable, that's dependable? And you find out, why is that? Is it because something that you've been healed for is like, nah, just because I didn't have this or that? But no, you've got to get to the bottom of that. You've got to get to the root. It's really, at the end of the day, it's going to be what happened to you. Has that been healed? Are you willing to go back to when you were 13, when you were 6, maybe when you were 15, or when you were 5? Whatever age that happened to, you've got to go back to that year. Find out what it was and heal yourself and forgive your 13-year-old self or your 15-year-old self or your 6-year-old self. And then go through the years as you go there. Because I did that. My wife did that.
How do you get to that place of, because some people don't even know
you need help.
How to do it and how does one heal?
The thing is, you need assistance for that. Everyone, they say, no person's an island. You need help with that. There's going to be somebody that you need to get to, that you need to speak to, because it just doesn't happen. You don't just walk on the street and, I just tripped over healing. No, no. Someone's got to work with you. You've got to be get to a point where you are vulnerable, because there is strength in vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, there's a strength in saying, I need help. I need assistance.
Do you think part of the reason why we do ships, a lot of people don't know, is because that right there. When I don't know if you know the story, is like I was sitting in the bathroom and I asked God what's next, because I had already done the Dancers Report podcast, and he was like, ships, and I was like, what? Like, what do you mean ships? And he was like, ships because they either sink or they sail.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that, get my people in the room, and a relationship podcast, ships. Get my people in a room, and because he's like, get my people in a room so they can get to their purpose, so they can heal, and so they can get to their purpose, draw near.
Exactly.
Like, basically, I'm close.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think that being in group conversations like the one that we're having now is helpful to a healing, parts of healing?
Yes, yes. You have to be in a group conversation, and you have to make the decision that you are open to healing. That's my phone. So let me go ahead and just do this and turn that on. Okay. So that's. But people, when you can get into a group setting, but you really have to make the decision, the conscious decision, that you're coming into here not to just be a spectator, but to be a participant
of conversation.
That I'm coming in here to heal, to be healed. What can I do? What can I contribute? How can I be open so that I receive that? Because you got to be in a position to receive,
right?
And to receive from anyone.
Right.
Because anyone can be a teacher. Someone can teach you what to do, and you can learn what not to do. But you just have to be able to understand and say, be receptive, have that decision and say, I'm ready to be healed. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to be delivered out of this nonsense that I've been walking in for so many days, months, and years.
Do you think that what kind of mindset can attract healthy love?
One of the mindsets that can attract healthy love is one that can give love. You've got to be able to give love and understand the different forms of love, because there are love comes in so many different forms. There's the love that's lust. There's the love that you have for a family member. So there's familial love. There's the love that you have for a friend. There's the love that you have for pets or for a different like brotherly love. Filial. That's brotherly love. And then there's the unconditional love that siblings may have for each other, or that a mother has for a child. So you have to understand that there are different levels of love. And you have to understand where you operate in them. That love has many languages. Mm-hmm. If you're not speaking the same language, then it's not going to be a healthy conversation. So you have to understand the languages of love. You got to understand that people have different communication styles as well.
Yeah,
that's
big.
A key thing.
That's
too.
real big. That's real big.
Yeah, you have to understand people. Not everybody is going to be doing. You may say something, but it's not about what you say. It's about what people hear.
Yeah.
It's about something.
That's
They may say, "Well, I told him 10 times to take out the trash." He may not have heard that. He may have just heard to take out the trash, and he's thinking about something else. But you got to understand, there's many communication styles. So you got to be an active listener. You got to be willing to engage. You got to understand and hear what's said, and also, more importantly, what's not being said.
Yeah, I saw something that said an overthinker cannot date a bad communicator.
Yeah, it's a challenge, because if you overthink, you're going to look at every single word, and you're going to begin to take umbrage if a word sets you off.
What kind of person has a mindset that overthinks?
It could possibly be somebody that grew up in a very critical household.
Like always being judged?
Yeah, sort of being scrutinized for every single thing. Like, why couldn't you do this better? Why couldn't you, so they're going to begin to overthink, they're going to grow up in the house, or, it could be a mother, a father, uncle, but whoever was the adult figure in their life that judged and critiqued everything to the point where they are now overthinking every step, to where they may be operating in paralysis analysis, where they're not even moving because they're overthinking.
And that's a mindset, right? Is that a debilitating mindset, do you think?
It's one that can really set you apart and have you in a lonely state, because there are so many other mindsets, there are so many other avenues and people to engage with. It's the communication that you have. And if you don't have that communication, then you can potentially grow resentful, because you see everyone else get into relationships. You're not into one, and you're wondering why.
Right.
Because it's not communicated. And then there's the communicator that says, well, I'm telling them this person, I'm telling them this, why aren't they listening? You have to realize that over 90% of what you say is not coming out of your mouth. It's your tone, your body language, because I can say, hey, I got you this gift, don't you like it? Versus, hey, I got you this gift, all of that. Same words. Same words.
Did you see me?
It's the whole, you're like, immediately jump, you're like, no. I know, fist balled up real quick. You was ready to like, what you say? It's about the tone. It's about
he said, yo, I got you this gift.
Don't you like it?
You don't like it? Like, wait, what?
All of a sudden it was like, boom. But you see how the body language, the tone, the whole tone that will judge something. It will judge something. So I can even go like this and pause. And you're gonna wonder what's next. Is what he's saying critical? Watch the words, watch how it's going, watch the language. Because sometimes it's those small bites of information that are the keys that open up the next door to your revelation.
And it's the approach. I know my tone is very like, I'm a dance instructor. I'm a dancer, so we speak like perm. Like I said 5, 6, 7, 8, and to the left, to the up, down. Don't we speak so I guess direct, directional,
yes,
and aggressive, like in an artsy kind of way.
And some people can't.
Shout out to all my dancers.
Some people will be upset, like she's yelling at me. I mean,
but you know what? That's actually not what I get. I get like, okay, a person is like ready. All right, you know what I mean? When it comes to like real like constructive time, like when we got crunch time, we got to show us something, we got to get to it. It's different. It really is different. Like my students and how my teacher tone is really different than the way that I speak to anybody else. But I do have to talk about tone, because tonality is really important when it comes to how you address people.
Exactly. If I said, hey, yo, look at you now, how you doing? What's going on? But look at you now, how you doing? What's going on? Like I'm jealous. That second tone is I'm jealous. Like, oh, okay, you got this. I see you. You're doing your thing. I see you. That doesn't show. That's not real. That's not legit. It
doesn't sound supportive.
Exactly. That shows that's jealousy. That's not like, oh no, he's sus. He's sus. So it's your tone. It's your body language. It's like when you said, when you dance, you're like direct. And when you dance, it's direct. That's a key thing. And so when you're doing this, and you have that, because you have a certain environment. You have a certain environment that you've done. So when you've done something, when you're in that dancing, you're like, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because people know when they enter in that atmosphere that you cultivated, then they know that, okay, I'm going to get the direct. They know, but if they see you in a class, different tone. So it's about the atmosphere that you create.
And that's the other thing, like when I talk about with students, like how we actually interact from the time that we get into the class until the end of the class, I have to check the way that I'm like my friend. Like that has to have a soft sound, the way that I approach the student, the way that I address the student. You know what I mean? Like I noticed that even as as a parent, as a mom, when I say, you know, to my daughter, you know, it's time for you to get to school, okay, baby? When I say that, like that, she's like, all right, I'm not in trouble. Okay, I know that I have to, you know, get to, you know, school. Can we close the door, please? Thank you. It's cold, and I can't afford to get any sick, you know. So when we talk about, I had to tell him to close the door. It got too cold in here. Is he somebody you know?
No, I mean I don't know him like that, but.
But when I'm sorry, I'm scooting over because we're too loud. I'm trying to turn this thing down. Hold on one second, y'all. Anybody have a question? Does anybody have a question that they want to ask? Y'all got any questions? Like about mindsets?
I wasn't ready.
Well, think of a question that you might have so we can. Huh?
Oh, the books right now are $20. So I have books right here that sign. Now, if you go online on Amazon, you can get a paperback.
I want it now.
Oh, you want it now? $20.
Hey.
I got a copy here. We'll sign it for you. Done deal.
Okay.
Listen, I would say I encourage a lot of people to get the book because a lot of what's in the book is like it provokes thought about where you are. Like, what door are you at? What door have you come out of? What door are you heading to? It makes you really, really think about like where you're headed, where your current state is, and where you're actually going to go. Right. So, did you write it so that it would be timeless?
Yeah, I really wrote it so that it was a book that not just you read it, but that you study.
Okay. Right.
You know, so at every chapter in the book, I have questions, like 2 questions at the end of each chapter, and the purpose of it is, you know, what you just read. How can you apply it? How can you put it into practical steps and practical things? You know, so that's really the guide of it. You know, every decision we make is a doorway.
Here's the question for chapter 1. I'm not going to read all these questions. Y'all got to get the book.
Yes.
Okay, so the question to consider, and I like the way you phrase that, because sometimes it's like you get a book and they're like telling you, oh, you need to, this is the question. No, but this is a question that you need to consider. Where are you currently, and where would you like to be? Have you identified the doorway out and into your next position in life? I like that because it makes you think about, you know, where are you at, where you want to go, and then what's the doorway look like?
Right.
And then where you're trying to go, what's that position look like? Like, is it a position in a new position at your job? Is it a new title?
Right.
Is it marriage? Is it kids? Is it buying a home? What's the next doorway? Like, where are you at right now? And it doesn't make it seem like, okay, I gotta write where this goal is and then where I'm gonna be. But it does do that visually. In your mind, it makes you do it in your mind, but it also makes you like think, okay, let me sit down and write it out. What I'm about to do, like where I'm at currently, and what's the approach to get to the next level. So, you know, obviously we talk about relationships on this podcast, and it's not just about relationships romantically, it's the relationship you have with yourself. Are you being kind to yourself? Like, who around you, you know, checks you? Like, who's holding you accountable? Like, do you have a support system? What does that support system look like?
Right, exactly. And you're asking the what question. When you ask, what does that support system look like? Someone has to, you know, you have to give the response. You have to begin to look like, okay, so what does that support, what does me healthy look like? What does me being in a relationship look like? What does me having a large house with 2-car garage and with a, you know, 3,000 square feet? What does that look like? Does that look like, you know, does it look like this? Who am I with? Who am I connected with? Who do I interact with? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What is it, how are my senses engaged? And when you say the what question, now I'm going, and the thing is, when you ask a what question, when someone asks a what question, embrace the silence. Many times you want to ask somebody the what question, and then you want to fill it with words.
Yeah.
If they're thinking about something, embrace that silence. Many people, we're kind of concerned or we're nervous because no one's talking, or it's silent, or it's there's that
I gotta say something.
You gotta say something. You gotta feel it.
You don't have to.
You gotta embrace that silence and let that answer come to them. If I say what this, think about it. It's not rushed. This is something that you're going to sculpt, that you're crafting, that you're molding. I ask you the what question, all of a sudden what comes in is the big rock. What happens is, as you answer it, it's you sculpting a way out of that. You're sculpting something out of that. So at the end, you've actually got a beautiful sculpture and a picture like, that's what it looks like.
I have a question for you in terms of relationships. Now, this is what are some mindsets that you can refer to people that may be listening on the podcast? And you guys also, if you have questions for the accountability coach, aka Coach Trev, or you have a question that you want, or even a comment that you want to talk about in terms of mindset and love, I'd love to hear it. But what are some mindsets that you would suggest people to have that are seeking healthy relationships, whether it's with themselves or with a romantic relationship, or even business, like a healthy business relationship?
What I would say is have a mindset of a question mindset. And what I mean by that is begin to question how you respond, how you react, what are your models. Begin to have that question of, and have that mindset of being ready to pivot, meaning that if you've been doing something all these years, you've got to understand, why are you doing it? Where did it come from? Quick story. When I was growing up, with a single mom, whenever there was a holiday, we would have the aluminum foil out. Now, the only time we used aluminum foil was Thanksgiving, Christmas, Mother's Day, July 4th, all the holidays.
Food.
Otherwise, you're wrapping your food in plastic wrap. That's it. So those are the only times we used aluminum foil. When I got married, that was the same mindset I had, that I would only use aluminum foil on certain days. And then one day I'm in the kitchen, I said, why am I doing, I'm treating this like it's gold foil. I'm treating it as that, and I had to really give myself permission to use that, to go ahead and use aluminum foil outside of these holidays. And because I got that from that older model, that mindset, I gave myself the permission to question my actions. So you've got to give yourself permission to question your actions and be ready to change them. Be ready to say, you know what, I've been doing this, but be ready to give that up for your next best.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a mindset that's willing to question yourself, willing to get to the root of things, willing to pivot, willing to break away from old models and embrace new models. Because what worked back then doesn't mean it's going to work now.
And that is also maturity too. I think maturity is a mindset. You know what I mean? Like being mature.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I think a lot of people think that they're mature because you gathered the age, or you gathered the skill, or you gathered the title at work, or the name. But that is not, I think maturity is a mindset. It ain't got nothing to do with the title. It doesn't have anything to do with the destination. The location of where you're at.
Or your vocabulary, just because you can use a big word and say, let's discuss about the geopolitical aspect of how these two countries. No, just because something is juxtaposed to the, no, just because you read some SAT words and you know how to position them and place them doesn't make you mature.
No.
It just means these
or
words.
Intellectual.
Exactly. You've got to know how to be in the environment, be engaged, and to be a contributor to that environment.
Now, I keep hearing this word, emotional intelligence. Because people throw around on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and chat. Oh, I sound old when I say chat, but I don't care. I hate Snapchat. I don't like Snapchat.
You want my look and face?
Right. But I don't know. Snapchat is trouble, I guess. But they're all trouble. So, do you think that emotional intelligence is a mindset?
I think really when it comes to emotional intelligence, it's really
is it just a trendy word now?
Sometimes it can be a trendy word. You really got to, if you're serious about it, you want to take the time and study and says, what is emotional intelligence? What books can I get? What can I hear? And you have to find out what's your best learning style. Like
That's key.
I like to train people. I was in one position for a number of years where I traveled to 45 states.
I remember.
And trained
over. Me coming to church with the suitcase,
with the
and everything. Leaving,
getting on a plane. And so I was training CFOs, directors of finance, all in different states. Arkansas, Iowa, whatever, all of these. The thing that separated me from many of the trainers they had in the past is that when day one came and I stood up, I would ask them, how do you learn?
No, that's good.
What's the best way you learn? Are you a visual person? Are you audio? Do you like written things like a job aid? Or are you kinesthetic? Do you like to do as you learn? Mm-hmm. So you have to say, if I'm going to learn about emotional intelligence, I've got to learn it in the way that is best for me. I may prefer watching something. I may prefer listening to a book on it. I may prefer small jobs and aids, or I may prefer someone telling me about it. So yeah, you have to find out what that is and don't use it as a trendy word.
Right. So I had to ask that question because I keep hearing it. I know what it is, and we talk about those things on the podcast, but and we talk about it just in conversation, right? But it's because it's a trendy word now.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are using it. I mean, they don't even actually. I can't say that they're not using it because I'm not in their lives, but I noticed that a lot of people are using it because it's something that's continuous on the social platforms, social media platforms.
And when they use it, they don't know what kind of doorways they open themselves up to. So if you use something like emotional intelligence, or you use inclusivity, or you use any of these other buzzwords, and you're just using them to drop them, then potentially you could be opening yourself up to additional drama or additional trouble that you did not know because you thought it was good to put the word in there, but now you've opened yourself up to issues, up to circumstances because you didn't read the room, because you didn't have that mature mindset to come in and follow what I like to say, follow protocol. You're not going to go into somebody's house and just walk and open your fridge and just start to serve yourself. You're going to respect that person's home and find out how they do things. It's the same thing with conversation. It's the same thing online. It's the same thing. All those are doorways. Before you go in that doorway, you make the mindset to, I've got to learn what the protocol is, what the order is, and then follow that lead. So it's the same thing when you go into any of these social media platforms. What's the platform? What's the protocol? What's the platform? In this interview, and anytime, even if you're engaging someone, what's the protocol? I'm not going to over talk or under talk. I'm going to respond so that I'm in order.
Now, the last thing I want to just make sure that I talk about is where people can find the book. You can get this book on Amazon. Make sure you get it if you can. Support. It's Black History Month, so y'all better support Black business.
Self-published as well. This is self-published. So
The Doorways of Life, and it is by Trevor Singleton, aka Coach Trev. If someone is looking for mentoring, accountability coach, what do they need to do in order to get in touch with you or stay connected to you?
They can go to talkwithtrevor.com, and there I offer a complimentary collaborative call. And so if you go to talkwithtrevor.com, it gets you right on my calendar. You can book a time slot, and then we'll get on a Zoom call and we'll find out the ways that I can assist you, the ways that I can help you, how I can coach you. And it's complimentary, it's free. Most of it's like 15 minutes. A lot of times I may go over, but yeah, go to talkwithtrevor.com. If you want to see what I've done and some of my coaching and teaching and training, you can go to my YouTube, Single Source Coaching Solutions. I'm on a lot of those platforms. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat. I'm on
all of it.
Threads.
You on Chat?
I'm on Threads. I'm on Lemon 8.
Are you on Chat?
I'm on Alignable.
Are you literally on Snapchat?
I'm on Snapchat.
Jeez.
Yes.
I guess I'm behind y'all.
So if you want to see any of my videos or shorts or anything, things that I'm teaching on, you can go to any one of those.
I really think it's important for our young black males, who are seeking guidance, seeking mentorship, seeking accountability, and they want to grow in their personal development. I encourage you to seek Coach Trev, because I have to say, like, as a young, I am a young adult. I literally was grateful to have him and his wife mentor me and really speak into my life spiritually. So they are really truly gifted, and they're positive, and it's a blessing to have you. And he's been a friend and collaborator, and also a moderator, I would have to say, for ships for probably the last 3 years. Yeah, 3 or 4 years. So
I was grateful to be asked, and I was thankful that she gave me the opportunity. So
but you always have something valuable to say, even before the book, before doing the accountability coaching and all this stuff. He would have something valuable to say on ships. So, but I just think that it's important for our young black males who want to grow beyond where they are. If you are a male who, and it's not just for males, but I'm really encouraging black men to have someone else speak into your life other than your friend circle. Have someone who is more mature in the areas of, your emotional intelligence per se, to help coach you. And then if there's in different areas of your life that, you want to see a change, but you don't know the approach, because whatever you've been doing is either it's worked and it's capped where it is. I think it's really important to have someone like Trev come and step into your life and really help you push this thing along, especially if you're sitting on gifts, you're sitting on purpose, or don't know your purpose and you really need that push, or you're sitting on different things you want to do, desires of the heart, and you don't know how to get them out. Sometimes it takes someone other than yourself to really and truly help you move that thing along. So I encourage a lot of people to give a coach. You know what I'm saying? And we'll do this conversation more than one. This is one of many. But I am going to talk about mindset. I am going to talk about love. We are going to talk about finances, and I just need to have the coaches in the room.
Yes, true.
So if you guys want to connect with Coach Trev, make sure you go onto his Instagram. It is Single Source
Coaching Solutions, or SS Coaching Solutions. Search for Coach Trev. Like I said, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Also, I need to do, this is a shameless plug. One, shout out to my wife, Nicole, who came up with the title of this. I'm gonna be releasing a new course very soon, and it's called From Layoff to Takeoff.
So those who've been laid off and you're trying to find out what should you do next, and you're in a good spot. I mean, right now there's so many ways to redefine your new step. So I think that's gonna be dope. Well, I know it's gonna be dope.
So yeah, it's gonna be, and so just stay tuned. I'll be on that. It's gonna be like an 8-course module, 15 minutes per module, and then that'll give you an opportunity to not only have the course, but it'll also give them opportunity to take part in a weekly accountability call.
I love that.
That's like a webinar style.
I love that. Well, we love we love y'all for supporting, but we gotta go. Okay? And I appreciate you. So like I said, get this book, y'all, because I'm telling you, get in this book. Y'all gonna start to see some things about yourself that you wanna, work on, fix, update. Shout out to Asia. Shout out to D-Tune, Vicky. What up, y'all? Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Tara. And DJ Morgan or D Morgan, DJ Insky.
Shout out.
Shout out to everybody.
Audiobook coming soon. I
Hey,
do my voiceovers as
listen,
well.
I need that. Okay.
Audiobook will be coming soon. I do my own voiceovers, so I'll be narrating the book, so that'll be available right now. Ebook, digital, hard copy, paperback.
Shout out to Bree Angle. It is in the room. And shout out to my sister right here, Juanita. Happy birthday! Woo, woo, woo. And Alvina's in the building.
Yep, Miss 5678's birthday's coming up soon.
Oh yeah, don't trip. My birthday's coming up. You know what I mean?
Is it the 13th?
It is. Yep, the 13th.
Yes. So y'all get ready.
Shout out to Asia. Sister Asia's on here. My sis.
And share this. Share this, Benny, because this is one of the things we need to support each other, and it has to be deliberate and it should be intentional. So share. Miss 5678 is putting in hard work. She's putting in
I'm
effort.
trying. I'm doing. Not trying.
Exactly. See how she corrected herself? You don't use the word try, because every time you use the word try, that means you're about to. Just do it.
Hey.
Speak yourself into it. Speak your present.
Ooh. That's a slogan. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.